to share my knowledge with you all, and hopefully this will help in cracking NET or JRF. So, yeah, shall I start?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll share my screen. Yeah. So the screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
fine. Yeah, fine. Thank you. So today we will discuss about Hatha Pradipika text. Basically, this belongs to Hatha Yoga tradition. So in today's class, we will discuss about the Hatha Pradipika by Swatma Rama Maharshi, first chapter especially, and second chapter if possible. So see, one thing you have to remember is the cracking any competitive exam. It may be NET or JRF, whatever it may be. You need not remember the exact answer. You have to understand the concept first, so that if you know which is not right, which answer is not right, then also you can get good marks in these type of competitive exam, because all these are multiple choice questions. For example, before starting my topic, I'll explain is how. For example, you know that how many number of asanas are there. For example, this is a question. Suppose how many number of asanas are there. So the multiple choices will be given, like 84 or 84,000, 84 lakhs, or some 108. So like this, choices will be given. So if you do not exactly remember it is 84 lakhs, doesn't matter. Somewhere if you remember that, no, it is something in lakhs or something like 80, 90 lakhs, somewhere in that range. If you remember, that is fine, because the other answers, whatever or the choices given is like 108 or 84, something like that. So if you know that it is somewhere near 80, 90 lakhs, even if you don't know it exactly 84 lakhs, that's fine. You can get mark in that, because you know that other two answers are not right. So you will choose this one. Okay. So in this way only we have to try to crack these type of exam, because see, learning everything and knowing everything, knowing each and every part, knowing each and every answer, so that would be slightly difficult. So if you understand the basic concept, if you understand what exactly is the mechanism or the science behind these yogic practices or yoga, then you will understand how to crack or how to answer the questions clear. Okay. So let's move on to the topic. So the science of yoga. So you know that there are so many branches in that, or so many schools of yoga are there. So among some of the very popular, very known are like Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all these things. So all these yogas are very popular and everyone knows about this. And in this also, to practice Hatha Yoga is relatively easier, because we can practice literally in our day-to-day life, or by spending some time every day, we can practice this. So these are some of the schools of yoga which are very popular and can be practiced also. So Hatha Yoga. So in yogic philosophy, so you know that as we discuss it now, so many schools are there. In Hatha Yoga, it mainly deals with our physical body, its care, its well-being, health, and strength, so that it prepares us for the higher levels of yoga, and therefore we can attain the ultimate state of samadhi, or ultimate state in yoga, that's called samadhi. Even in Upanishads, it is mentioned that, see, attaining physical and mental purification. So that is the part of Hatha Yoga. So in this Hatha Yoga, we need to understand that it is mainly about strengthening the physical body and thereby going for the higher level of practice and thereby attaining the samadhi. So in Hatha Yoga, you know that there are Hatha, the term Hatha, there are two words, two letters in this. The word Hatha has two letters, Ha and Ta. So the first one is which is considered or related to Pingala Nadi, Ha, and Ta related to Ida Nadi. So in this context, the term Hatha Yoga means the yoga through which these two forces are balanced, or that means Ida and Pingala Nadi, or the prana or the energy moving in Ida and Pingala Nadi are balanced and it is aligned to move through the Sushumna Nadi. Okay, and thereby attaining the highest level. So, this is what mainly focused in Hatha Yoga. So, the Ida Nadi, or it is also known as Chandra Nadi, related to left nostril. So, this thing you know. So, this is also a major pranic channel within the body, represent the passive aspect of prana which manifests as mental force. Another one, the right, which is called as Pingala Nadi or Surya Nadi. This is also a major pranic channel within the body, represents the solar or the vital energy or the dynamic force which manifests in the physical dimensions as a prana shakti. According to this description, Hatha Yoga is the yoga of channeling the prana in the body. That is what I mentioned. Balancing everything, balancing the nadis, and ultimately channelizing this core energy through the Sushumna. Sushumna is the important nadi. You know that, which is in the middle of the spine. So before going to the exact text of Hatha Pradipika, let us see the origin of Hatha Yoga. So all of you know that Lord Shiva, so he is known as the founder of Hatha Yoga. It is said that a lonely island, assuming nobody else would hear from him, he gave the knowledge of Hatha Yoga to goddess Parvati, but a fish heard the entire discourse, remaining still throughout. So Lord Shiva took mercy on the fish and made him a Siddha who came to be known as Matsyendra. Okay, so this is how the origin of Hatha Yoga. And Matsyendranatha, that yogi, taught Hatha Yoga to his disciple Gorakshanatha and to a limbless man, Chaurangi, who was given hands and feet by Matsyendranatha just by looking at him. So Hatha Yoga Pradipika mentions many other yogis who became famous Hatha yogis. Hatha Yoga was thus passed down in disciplic succession. So this is how Hatha Yoga tradition so followed on, and the clear explanation is there in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika text that we will discuss. So Gorakshanatha, sage Gorakshanatha, so he is widely credited with the making Hatha Yoga popular. So you know that there are so many granthas like Goraksha Samhita, Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, Goraksha Shataka, Yoga Martanda, Yoga Chintamani, all these things you know. Now the concept of Hatha Yoga, if you closely observe Hatha Yogic texts, you will understand that, see, this Hatha Yoga discipline, it includes asana, purification procedures. These are known as kriyas, mudras, pranayama, meditation, or in specifically in Hatha Pradipika, it's considered as Nadanusandhana. So even though the limbs of Hatha Yoga, as per Hatha Pradipika 4, so we can observe other parts like Shatkriyas and Nada. See, these are also the part of Hatha Yoga only. Hatha Yoga is one of the two branches of yoga that focuses on the physical culture. The other one being Raja Yoga. So in Hatha Pradipika also it is mentioned Hatha Yoga or this Hatha Pradipika is mainly for the purpose of Raja Yoga only. Kevalam Raja Yoga. So that is what is mentioned in the shloka. So both of these are commonly referred to as Shadanga Yoga, means it has six parts. Swatma Rama Maharshi emphasizes many times in his Hatha Pradipika text that one cannot attain Raja Yoga without Hatha Yoga, and one cannot attain Hatha Yoga without Raja Yoga. So this is mentioned in Hatha Pradipika text. So that is why these are closely connected. These two are closely connected.
Sir,
Yeah, please. Anyone?
sir, Sadang Yoga is mentioned in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
No, it is a, see in Hatha Yoga, there are many texts are there. It's not only Hatha Pradipika.
Hmm.
Okay, it's not only Hatha Pradipika. Okay, many other texts are also there. So once you refer that, you will get to know that these many angas are there in Hatha Yoga. Even though see in Hatha Pradipika it is mentioned only four, like limbs of Hatha Yoga are only four.
Hmm.
Okay, but when you consider like Kriya, see other parts of yoga also, this comes up like see in Gheranda Samhita, you see Saptanga Yoga,
Seven.
right?
Seven.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Hatha represents, so Hatha, the word itself, as we discussed, Ha and Ta. See, these are the opposing energies, like hot and cold, male and female. See, one is positive and negative, like Ida and Pingal, like this. Hatha Yoga attempts to balance mind and body via physical postures or asana, purification practices like Kriya, controlled breathing, pranayama, and calming of the mind through relaxation and meditation, Nadanusantana. Asanas teach they helpful balance and strength and are practiced to improve the body's physical health and clear the mind in preparation for the meditation practice. However, if an individual has too much phlegm or fat, okay, medas and shleshma, then the purification procedures like kriyas are necessary before undertaking pranayama. That we will discuss in Hatha Pradipika. Okay. Okay. So the main text of Hatha Yoga, if you see, Hatha Pradipika by Swatma Rama and Gheranda Samhita by Gheranda Muni. So these works are derived from older Sanskrit texts only. Hatha Pradipika lists 35 great Hatha Yoga Siddhas or masters. So that sequence or the names are given in Hatha Pradipika. I hope all of you have Hatha Pradipika book with you. So if you see so many Siddhas or Hatha Yogis, the names of Hatha Yogis are mentioned in Hatha Pradipika book. I think you have seen that, like Adinatha, Matsyendra, Shabara, Ananda Bhairava. So that list is given. So you remember few names of Hatha Yogis. That is well and good. So anyway, I will take up some question and answer once we finish off this text. Too, I will take up few like how the questions will be asked, or the previous questions and answers. We will discuss that anyway. Now you understand the basic concept and what are there in the Hatha Yoga, Hatha Pradipika text. So if you see the all the Hatha Yogic text, you can get to know that these are all mentioned in Hatha Yoga text like Shat Karmas, Asanas, Pranayamas, and mention about chakras, energy centers, and Kundalini Shakti, about bandhas, and about Shakti, Nadi, Mudra. These are all the terminology you come across in Hatha Yoga text. Yeah. Now coming to the particular text called Hatha Pradipika. Hatha Pradipika of Swatmarama Maharshi. So Hatha Pradipika is one of the great Hatha Yoga texts, okay, by Swatmarama Maharshi. So this text, or according to this text, it has four limbs. Four limbs: asana, pranayama, bandhas and mudras, nadhanusandhana. These are the four limbs of Hatha Yoga according to Hatha Pradipika. So you have to remember four limbs of Hatha Yoga according to Hatha Pradipika: asana, pranayama, mudra, bandha, and nadhanusandhana. So if you observe all the texts of Hatha Yoga, you can find a common thing that it starts by saluting the Lord Shiva. Because as we discussed, the Hatha Yoga founded by Lord Shiva himself. So that is why the source of knowledge is Lord Shiva, and hence it starts by saluting the Lord Shiva for giving this beautiful text, which is useful for the common people. So the text starts with the shloka that Shri Adinathaya Namostu Tasmai Yenopadischta Hatayoga Vidya Vibhrajate Pronnata Rajayoga Marodhumicho Madhirohiniva. So the meaning is, see, I bow to the Almighty who taught the lore of Hatha Yoga, which is held in high esteem, as if it were a flight of steps for him, means for the practitioner, for the aspirant, who looks forward to climbing the highest peak of Raja Yoga, or the spiritual achievement. So this is the first shloka in Hatha Pradipika. So next, after this, after bowing to Lord Shiva and considering Hatha Yoga is the step which help us to achieve Raja Yoga, then he tells that the Swatmarama, the compassionate Swatmarama, presents this text, particularly this Hatha Pradipika text, for those who are perplexed by the confusion caused by multiplicity of view and thus remain ignorant of true Raja Yoga. Bhrantya bahumatadvante Rajayogamajanatam Hatapradipikam dhatte Swatmaramah Kripakaraha. So, who are ignorant of the true Raja Yoga, who are into different types of tradition, okay, who are not very well known about this. For them, this is the gift given by Swatmarama Maharshi. Bhrantya Bahumatadvanti Rajayoga Majanatam. So for them, this is very useful so that they can attain the true Raja Yoga. Okay. So next, he moves on to, in this text, he moves on to the names of different yogis. As I mentioned earlier, various names are given here for the purpose of understanding who are the yogis or hatha yogis specifically. The list is there. You can just go through the text. So many names are given. Remember few names like Goraksha and Matsyendranatha, Shabara, Ananda Bhairava, Chaurangi. Like these names are given. Pujyapada, Nityanatha, Niranjana. Like these names are given. So try to remember at least 8 to 10 names of hatha yogis. Next in this chapter, the very important concept is about yoga matha. Yoga matha, where one should see the yogi or hatha yogi who wants to practice and who wants to achieve something in hatha yoga, where he should reside and how the practice should be, what is the suitable place, And this concept is known as yoga, concept of yoga matha. How the matha should be, that is given in this text. सुराज्ये धार्मिके देशे सुभिक्षे निरुपद्रवे धनुः प्रमाण पर्यन्तं शिलाग्नि जलवर्जिते एकान्ते मठिका मध्ये स्थातव्यं हठयोगिना. The shloka is there. Okay. So the lakshana, I have just briefed out the shloka, the meaning of this shloka here of matha lakshana. So why it is important to select that kind of, see, whatever is mentioned in Hatha Pradipika, that kind of specific place? Why it is important? Because place plays a major role in Hatha Yoga practice. Environment plays major role influencing the results of sadhana. So therefore, if sadhana is performed in a disturbing atmosphere and amidst negative vibrations, too much energy is dissipated in simply trying to overcome the negative influences. So the place where we practice should be very congenial for the practice. It must be supportive. So wherever, see, we practice, we gain energy, and that energy is completely drained out by other factors, then what is the use? We cannot further grow in our practice. Therefore, it is very important to select such a good place for the practice. That is why it is clearly mentioned here, Surajye Dharmike Deshe, where one should reside in a righteous country, in solitude. So that kind of place one has to select. So for a sadhaka, it is very important to choose right place, correct place. So we must away from too much materialistic type of places or the polluted cities. So he given a place or the lakshana of a place where one should reside. And the Hatha Yogi should build a matha or a hut, and there one should reside and practice. So that will help in the practice, and the practitioner can do sadhana. So because sadhana is very important, he can do sadhana. So the most important factor is environment. Okay. So the sadhaka should live alone and away from others. So those who wish to undergo intensive practice should dwell in a place which is free from the noise and pollution. The atmosphere should be calm, peaceful, clean, pleasant, free from hazards of rocks and fire. Okay. So in such a place, one has to reside. So yoga matha lakshana. So the hut should be like the shloka is given Alpadwaram Arandhram Gatir Vivaram Nati Ucha Nichatayam. So the shloka is given small entrance, no other openings, neither be too high nor too low, well best made with the thick layer of cow dung, clean and free from all insects. Main thing is there should not be any kind of disturbance for the practice. No distractions, no disturbance. Such a place one has to select, and one should build a yoga matha or a small hut. There, yogi has to reside and practice. That will lead him to success. Okay. Next, very important concept which comes in Hatha Pradipika is the constructives and destructives of the yoga practice. Okay. There are 6 qualities one has to develop to get success in yoga. And there are 6 qualities which will lead us to failure. Okay. What are those 6? You have to remember this. Very important. You have to remember this. To get success in yoga, what are the 6 qualities? Very important. Utsaha, sahasa, dhairya. Utsaha, sahasa, dhairya. Tattvajnana, nischaya, janasanga parityaga. These are the 6 which are useful to get success in yoga. Utsaha, sahasa, dhairya. Tattvajnanacha nischayat, janasanga parityaga, षड्भिर योगः प्रसिद्ध्यति. Utsaha, enthusiasm. Sahas, courage. Dhairya, perseverance. Tattvajnana, correct knowledge or right knowledge. Nischaya, determination. Janasanga parityaga, abandoning the company of unsuitable people. So too much connection, too much public contact should not be there when we are into practice like a sadhana. These are the 6 which lead us to success. Another 6 which will lead us to failure. Atyaharah prayasascha prajalpo niyamagrahah janasangascha laulyam cha षड्भिर yogo vinashyati. Another 6 which will lead us to failure. Atyaharaha, overeating. Prayasa, overexertion. Prajalpa, see, talkativeness, excessive talk. Niyamagraha, severe austerity. Janasanga, okay, too much public contact. And laulya, fickleness, chanchalata of mind. So these are the 6 which will lead us to failure in yoga. So 6 for success and the 6 which will lead us to failure. So both these are important aspects you have to remember. Next. So as we discussed, the first limb of Hatha Yoga in Hatha Pradipika is asana practice. Asana practice. So in Hatha Pradipika, the first component of yoga is asana. So asana being the first limb, first component, it is discussed first. Always it is like that, no? The benefit of asana he tells. Before explaining the names of asana or the practicing of asana, in the first shloka itself, that is the 17th shloka of first chapter, he tells that hatasya prathamangatvat asanam purvamuchyate kuryat tadasanam stairyam arogyam angalaghavam. So the benefit of asana he mentions here. Asana brings steadiness, stairyam, steadiness, both physical as well as mental level. Arogyam, good health. And angalaghavam, laghava, laghutva means lightness. So physical as well as mental level steadiness, good health, and a feeling of lightness. These are the benefits of practicing asanas. So very important shloka this is. It is better to remember this shloka. Hatasya prathamangatvat asanam purvamuchyate kuryat tadasanam stairyam arogyam angalaghavam. Steadiness of the body and mind, good health, and a feeling of lightness, laghutva or laghava, angalaghavam. Okay. So we can attain all the 3 by the regular practice of asana. Now he mentions or he gives explanation about 15 asanas. So total number of asanas explained in Hatha Pradipika are 15. Remember the number. Total number of asanas explained in Hatha Pradipika is 15. So the names of asana is given. Swastikasana, Gomukhasana, Virasana, Kurmasana, Kukkutasana, Uttana Kurmakasana, Dhanurasana. Similarly, Matsyendrasana, Paschimottanasana, Mayurasana, Shavasana, Siddhasana, Padmasana, Simhasana, Bhadrasana. So these are the asanas explained in Hatha Pradipika. So each one, so he mentions about asanas, and in some places he explains specific benefits of asanas also. Like not for every asana, some of the asanas are considered to be very special and very important. So those asanas benefits are also given in the text. If you see, like Paschimottanasana, Paschimottanasana. See, very important asana. See, benefit if you see. पश्चिमतानासनमाग्र्यं पवनं पश्चिमवाहिनं करोति उदयं जठरानलस्य कुर्यात् उदरे काश्यम् अरोगतां च पुंसाम्. So it directs the pavana or the energy along the back. Pavanam paschimavahinam karoti. Udayam jatharanalasya. Udayam jatharanalasya. Kindles the gastric fire. Reduces the belly kashyam. Arogatam. It leads to arogata, means good health, no disease. So these are the major benefits of Paschimottanasana. See, another one asana is Matsyendrasana, if you see. So you have to be very clear the terminologies used here or the wordings which are used here. See, for example, if you take up Matsyendrasana and Paschimottanasana, Matsyendra Peetham Jatara Pradiptim. So benefit if you see of Matsyendrasana, Matsyendra Peetham Jatara Pradiptim. प्रचंड रुक् मंडल खंडनास्त्रम अभ्यासतः कुंडलिनी प्रबोधम चंद्र स्थिरत्वं च ददाति पुंसाम. So your first line if you see, Matsyendra Peetham Jatara Pradiptim. What does it mean? Which stimulates the gastric fire. It enhances, see, Pradipana. Okay. Whereas, if you see the Paschimottanasana, Udayam Jatharanalasya kindles the gastric fire. Okay. So, if the question comes like which asana kindles the gastric fire, then you have to write Paschimottanasana. Because, see, if you just remember the word, then it will be useful. Which asana kindles the gastric fire, then the answer is Paschimottanasana. Which asana enhances gastric fire, that is Matsyendrasana. So, that means even if there is no gastric fire, means complete the gastric fire completely reduced, then also if you practice Paschimottanasana, it kindles Udayam, it generates. Okay. Whereas when it comes to Matsyendrasana, Pradipana means there will be gastric fire little bit. So that will be enhanced or stimulated by the practice. Okay, this difference is there. So you have to remember. Similarly, one more is Mayurasana. Another important asana mentioned in Hatha Pradipika, Mayurasana. Very important to remove the even poison. See, there is the shloka is given there. Jarayet kalakutam. The last in the second line of the shloka, last it is given Jarayet kalakutam. Even if one, see, we cannot consider literally as poison, because if the food whatever we eat which is unwholesome, or maybe without our knowledge, suppose whenever we eat outside or whenever we eat somewhere else, far off place, we don't know the quality of food, how it is. By mistakenly, even if you eat such food, because of the gastric fire. Because you know that Agni is very important, Jataragni. When we have that kind of prominent Jataragni within us, then whatever you eat, that gets digested, right? So the Agni, which is so powerful that even if you eat any food which is mildly poisonous or which is not wholesome, then also that can be digested by the power of your Agni. Okay, so that kind of development or Agni level improvement you can see by the practice of Mayurasana. Okay, next one more asana is Shavasana. Relaxes body and mind. Shavasanam Shrantiharam Chitta Vishranti Karakam. Shavasanam Shrantiharam Chitta Vishranti Karakam. This line is also important. Not only for the body, Shavasana is not only for the body, even for the mind also. Okay. Now, important four asanas. So, you know, Siddhasana, Padmasana, Simhasana, Bhadrasana. According to this text, these are the four asanas most useful, he tells. Okay. 84 asanas enumerated by Lord Shiva. So among 84, I will explain the four most important them. And among these four, Siddhasana, Padmasana, Simhasana, Bhadrasana, among these also, Siddhasana is one of the most important practices. So that is what mentioned. Okay. So these are the four. So these names you have to remember. Siddhasana, Padmasana, Simhasana, Bhadrasana. And specifically here in Siddhasana, one of the very important benefit is it helps to cleanse the 72,000 nadis. So as per the different yogic scriptures, there are 72,000 nadis are there. So these 72,000 nadis also can be cleansed by practicing Siddhasana. And Siddhasana is one of the most useful practice for the yogis. Okay, that will help in attaining the higher states. So many benefits are given. All the 72,000 nadis will be cleansed. Similarly, if one practices this Siddhasana for 12 years, then he will get that mastery and he will attain that higher state. All these things are mentioned. So, very important asana here is Siddhasana. So, that you have to remember. Then explanation about other asanas are also there, like Padmasana, Simhasana, all these things. Okay. Next. Next very important aspect which is mentioned in first chapter of Hatha Pradipika is about diet, mitahara and patya and apatya. Patya, apatya, mitahara. What is mitahara? Susnigdha madhurahara chaturthamsha vivarjitah bhujyate shiva sampriti mitahara sa uchyate. So this is the definition of mitahara according to Swatmarama. Eating the food which is sweet, unctuous, first offered to the Almighty or Shiva, leaving 1/4 of the stomach empty. This is known as mitahara. Bhujyate Shiva Sampritye. By offering to the God or Shiva, then having that. This is not just for the craving. Okay. Food is eaten as a, because you know, Agni, we are giving food to the Agni. This is a yajna. Okay. Eating means generally we think that just eating. No, it's not like that. This is a whole is like a very auspicious, because that is why it is told that we should not eat anywhere by standing, walking, all these things. Okay, we should sit in a place and as a yajna, how you do yajna with all that concentration we do know. In the same way, having food also. So that also by first we have to offer it means we should do naivedyam. Naivedyam in the sense you need not keep it in front of the god. That is not necessary. After taking food in the plate, at least pray, just a silent prayer, just like a bow, just do namaste, just pray and offer to the god, then have it. That's enough. Okay. So in such a way, because the term whenever we hear mitahara means moderate diet, it's not just about the quantity of food, it is the quality, not just about quantity. Quantity matters, of course, but quality is also very important. Susnigdha, which is unctuous. Why it is should be susnigdha? Why it should be madhura? Okay. See, whenever we eat such food that nourishes our body, you know that sapta dhatus are there. In sapta dhatus, the first dhatu is rasa. Rasa rakta mamsa asti made us majja shukra. So like that it goes. So, sapta dhatus. In these sapta dhatus, first one is rasa dhatu. Rasa dhatu is the base for all the dhatus and the nourishment. This rasa dhatu only moves throughout the body, reaches the cells, and that nourishes the body. Okay. So that rasa should be of good quality. And that good quality of rasa can be uh, produced with good quality of food. That is why having good food, which is satvika, which is unctuous, which is naturally sweet. See, of course, see here, do not confuse. Madhura means sweet. Sweet in the sense, not the sweet what we commonly tell about sweet. No. The sugar, jaggery, sugar and jaggery, these are concentrated sweet. These are not natural sweet, concentrated one. So from the sugar cane, we extract that. Okay, this is concentrated one. That is not sweet. Okay, means whatever he mentions here, that not that type of sweet, which is naturally sweet. Even if you have rice, just uh, just a spoon of rice, you just have chew it properly, you realize that is also sweet. Now our tongue is not uh, grasping that because we are habituated for concentrated sweets. Otherwise, if you closely observe, of course, we are all yogis, we will know that having khichdi, you see, after the kriya practice, you eat khichdi, no? That khichdi you see without salt, just have it. How sweet it is. So that type of food is called as susnigdha madhuraha. Okay. So such food we have to consume, and 1/4 of the stomach should be kept empty. So to enhance the benefits of asanas, all the practices, not only asana, any practice if you see in yoga, the benefits will get enhanced when we follow proper food system. Okay. So which is food good, which is not good, and which is not supposed to be eaten by a yogi, a yoga sadhaka, that is given as pathya and apatya. Okay. So eating food which is bitter, sour, pungent, salty, or hot, excess of green vegetables, sour gruel, oil, mustard, consuming alcohol, fish, meat, curds, buttermilk, horse gram, berries, oil cakes, asafoetida, garlic. These are all said to be bad for a practitioner, and hence it is known as apatya food, which is not to be taken. Okay. Katu amla tikshna lavana, उष्ण हरित शाख सवीर तैल तिल शप मध्य मत्स्यान अजादि मांस दधि तक्र कुलत्थ कोल पिण्याक हिंगुल अश्रुन आदि अपथ्य माहु. So these are the food are not good for a yoga sadhaka. Which is good then? Godhuma, Shali, Yava, षष्टिक शोभनान्नम क्षीराज्य खंड नवनीत सिता मधुनि शुंठी पटोलक फलादिक पंचशाकम मुद्गादि दिव्य मुदकम च यमींद्र पथ्यम. Okay. Wheat, rice, barley, the grain called shashtika, which grows in 60 days, shashtika. And milk, ghee, sugar, which is brown. See, color of the sugar is brown because that's naturally unbleached. Butter, sugar candy, honey, dry ginger, patolaka fruit, leafy vegetables, five types of leafy vegetables, green gram, pure water. These are all considered to be pathya. These are good for a yoga practitioner or a yogi. So this type of food one has to consume. That will help in the practice. Ultimately, that is what the intention. No? Ultimately, we need to get success in the practice. So that type of food only we have to consume. So that is why following mitahara, and that mitahara also among this. So whichever is suitable, of course. See, don't think that these are all good and you can have everything. No, it's not like that. We have to look into our body condition. Swatmarama Maharshi has given list of items which are good, considered to be good. Okay. Among this, whichever is suitable for you, whichever is agreeable for the individual, that has to be consumed. For example, milk. For some people, milk is not suitable. Their body rejects. Then what to do? It is given as patya. You have to eat. No, it's not like that. If that is not agreeable, leave it. Don't have that type of food. Okay. Whichever is suitable, because now our biggest problem is we are looking into the food items in terms of nutrients. No, that is not a good habit. Don't just look into the food in terms of nutrients. Whether your body agrees, just look into that. If your body, see, you must be knowing that people generally say that this is good because it has iron content. This is good because this is rich in protein. This is good because this is rich in vitamins, right? That is true. That food item or that vegetable, fruit, or whatever it may be, may contain vitamins, may contain minerals, may contain protein. But what is the use if your body doesn't accept that? If you are not able to digest and absorb, what is the use? Right? So we have to select whichever is suitable among this and have. That is what the meaning of this. Okay. Not that everything is good and everything is good, of course, but whichever is suitable for the individual can be selected and that can be used. And the food preparation is also very important, not just the food item. For example, wheat. Okay. Wheat is good, but not chapati. Okay. Why? And even if you are eating chapati, how to eat, that matters. Okay, we'll discuss anyway that in future classes if we get time. Okay. So in such a way, food has to be selected and eaten. Pushtam sumadhuram snigdham gavyam dhatu praposhanam manobhilashitam yogyam yogi bhojanam achare. Okay. So yes. So that's mainly major concepts covered in first chapter. Okay. So I think, yeah, it's already 7:55. I think I'll stop today's session. So we will continue in the next class. Okay. So major things discussed in the first chapter is these things. Anyway, questions, answers we will discuss later. Okay. So once I cover this text, I will discuss about the questions and answers. Okay. Yes. So if you have any doubts, you may ask.
No doubt, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
No doubt, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Yes. So the concepts are clear. Anyway, you have studied all these things. So you'll be knowing